I own $1.5 million worth of real estate at 23 years old, and right now I'm buying another fourplex that I should close on here in about 2 weeks. They've already ordered the appraisals and everything's about done on it. But let's see what the numbers look like, and let's go step by step the different ways I can create value on this property. So, our first way to add value on this property is that we can just take the fourplex, and now this fourplex we're buying, we're paying $220,000 for it, and it comes with a lot that's zoned for business. And where we live at, it's the way it's zoned, we can build multifamily apartments on it. And where we live at, you can do about, I think it's a unit or 14 units per acre. So our first way we're going to add value on this property, and this is for sure has to happen, unless we just tear it down. But so we're buying them for $220,000. We're putting 15% down, which is $33,000 down on these, and I'm putting $30,000 into the rehab. So I'm personally investing $63,000 into this deal. And I'm expecting market rents on these for the one bedrooms to be about $750. We got 3 one bedrooms and we got 1 4-bedroom. I think I can get $1,200 on it is what market rents are on those. And for our total market rent, we'll be at $3,450 a month. Now, our loan amount when we first buy these will be $187,000. The interest rate we're getting from the bank is about 6 3/4, and it's amortized over 25 years. And our monthly principal and interest payments are $1,243 a month. So now we've got to find our cash flow. So what you do is you do your expenses. Well, you take your rent and you subtract all of your expenses from that, which is your loan payment, your taxes, your insurance, and your maintenance and your CapEx. And if you have to pay any utilities, take that out too. But on these, we're at $2,243 in monthly expenses. So we're going to cash flow about $1,200 a month just on these if we leave our money in it and we just try to cash flow and not pull our money back out. And it will appraise for about $320,000. So I'll have about $130,000 in equity on these after they're rehabbed. But the best thing about real estate and what we can do on these is where we've built so much equity into it, we'll be able to do a cash out refinance on these. So the way a cash out refinance works is if they appraise for $320,000, the bank will do 80% loan to value. What that means is they'll take $320,000 and they'll give you 80% of that appraisal value, which in this case comes out to about $256,000. And they'll do $256,000 at 6.75 for 25 years is what this bank is willing to do. And that puts our monthly payment at about $1,700 a month. But we're able to pull out all of the equity, or I'm able to pull out all of the equity that I've invested into this with the down payment and the money that I am investing into this deal for the rehab. So our market rents stay the same, our expenses go up, and we're going to cash flow about $750 a month on this one, on this fourplex. If we do a cash out refinance, we'll pull out $63,000. And we'll cash flow about $750 a month. But the best part about this deal is that we've got a couple other things we can do. So on this fourplex that I'm buying, it comes with a lot that's zoned B1, which here where we live at, you can build 14 apartment units on 1 acre, and it's already zoned for it. And I can go and tear this fourplex down if I wanted to and build 14. But I could do that, or I could just go right behind it where the other lot is at and build 7 apartment units instead of the 14. Now, this is kind of what my people that will be building it for me are saying it'll cost a foot. It could be a little bit less. I kind of raised it up a little bit. Some of them are saying it could be closer to $100 a foot because I'm basically getting the land for free. So our total cost, what we're looking at building is 7 units, 2 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, about 1,000 square feet. So our total cost a foot should be about $125 a foot, probably $100 to $125 a foot. Our total cost on these will be $875,000. Now the market rents are about $1,250. So $1,250 for 7 units is $8,750 a month, with the loan amount of $875,000. On these, they'll do a little bit better interest rate because they're newer, so we'll be able to get 6.25 for 25 years. Our total expenses on these will be $7,700 a month, and our cash flow will be about $1,050. But we'll be able to do this with zero out of pocket. We'll be able to use the land as the down payment and build these with zero out of pocket. So this is 100% infinite because we'll already have done the cash out refinance on the fourplex, and we'll be cash flowing $750 on it, and then we'll be cash flowing about $1,050 on these if we decide to build them, or if I decide to build them. So now, to find the value of the property, what it would be worth afterwards, you do $8,750 you do the monthly rent times 12 to get the yearly rent, which is $105,000, and then banks here use about 70% for expenses, so they'll do $105,000 times 70%. And that equals $73,500 a month is what your NOI would be. NOI is net operating income, and this is how they value multifamily properties that are 5+. In this case, it's 7. So then they take the cap rate, which in this case is about 6 to 6.5. I done 6.5 to be safe. So they'll do $73,500 divided by 6.5 for the cap rate equals $1,130,000 for this property's value. So these 7 units, I could build them basically and not have any money in the deal. Build them, the bank will loan me all the money to build them because we'll still be under the 80% on these of the value. And we can build them and build them for $875,000. The property's value would be $1.13. And then the equity we'd have on this is $255,000. So we're creating all of that equity on these just from building these from scratch and building it. I was going to say building it ourselves, which we're not really building it ourselves. We'll contract everything out, but I will be the GC on these when we build these. We can do a little bit less, and if we could do it for about $100 a foot, we would save a pretty good amount of money on that, which would also increase the cash flow and increase the equity on these. So that's the other option we've got. So we could renovate the fourplex, build these, and then we would have 11 units on one location, 7 new ones, and then 4 old ones that have been renovated. Or we could even do this. So here is our next option, which is to build 14 apartments and tear down the fourplex all together. Now on this one, we're looking at a total cost just to build is $1,750,000 plus $200,000 for the land and tearing it down, because you have to add the land value in there since we're tearing down the fourplex. And market rents, which is still $1,250 for 14 units, takes us to $17,500 a month. The loan amount would be $1.95 at 6.25 for 25 years. Our total expenses would be $16,000 a month. That's with the property taxes, insurance, the loan, and some maintenance. Now on this would be cash flowing $1,500 a month, which is a little less than what would be cash flowing if we kept the fourplex. But we would have 14 brand new units, and they'd probably be a little bit easier to rent where they'd be brand new. They're 1,000 square feet. We would put in brand new kitchens, brand new flooring. Everything within them would be brand new. So they'd be a lot easier to rent than the old ones that we're fixing up. But I've never built anything at all, and I would be the GC. And to do this, to build the 14, I think I'd have to do it all at once, which the land by itself isn't worth the $200,000 that I'm paying for the fourplex. So that kind of takes it off some, which is why this doesn't look better, is because $200,000 for the land is just too much, plus tearing it down. But it would be worth $2.2 million A little over 2.2 million. We have about 311,000 in equity, which I don't think it's enough. I don't think that's enough equity and enough cash flow a month to justify tearing down the fourplex and taking probably a year to build these, when I think I could probably build the 7 units in 6 to 7 months, get the permits and everything done, and have everything built in 6 to 7 months, and have the fourplex renovated probably by the middle of May, because I should close on it before May. So that's just some stuff you got to think about, is that you've got different options that you can do. We could just renovate the fourplex, not even build anything else, or wait to build. Or I could get the fourplex as soon as I get it, go ahead and get everything ready to start building the 7 units, and then let the cash flow from the fourplex basically pay the payment every month for the interest-only payment on the 7 units, because the way that works is they'll do an interest-only payment based on what you draw every month, which means, say that the first thing you got to do is the site work. So the site work says, I don't know, a couple $1,000, and then you go ahead and put the foundation, and your plumber comes out there and say that's all $20,000, and you've got $25,000, say, in the first month. Well, the way they do it is they'll do $25,000 at 6.25 for the interest, and you'll just pay interest only on that. And then next month you might be at $70,000 is what you've spent, and you can go ahead and draw that. And whenever you draw it, it goes into the loan for the next month. So, say month 1 you'll be at $25,000. Month 2 you're at $70,000. You pay the payment on that. Month 3 you're at maybe $200,000. You pay the interest only payment on that, and it just keeps stacking up until you're done building. And then once you're done building, you get it rented. And then you go back, refinance it, and get a permanent loan with the bank. So that's how that works with all of that. So there's a few different things that you can do on, say, I guess really any deal, but on this one in particularly, you've got a few different choices just because you've got the lot there. You could tear down the fourplex and build. You could just renovate the fourplex. You could renovate the fourplex and build. So you got a few different choices. I think on this one, whenever I close on it, and this is for sure already done, just because the bank I normally bank with already got me approved. I already have everything ready. They sent off the appraisal today, so the appraisal should be back this week. And maybe next week. The appraisal will probably be back next week with the guy that's appraising it. And then we should close on it probably the week after that, because it doesn't take them very long once they get the appraisal done. But there's a few different things you can do, like I said. In this case, the best thing to do is renovate and then build. And then we'll have 11 units, or I guess I'll have 11 more units, worth about, the new ones be worth about 1.1, plus the duplex be worth about 320,000. So we'll have about 1.4 million in real estate right there, which will be doubling my real estate still, since those 13 units fell through. But these are for sure going to close. We'll for sure at least get a fourplex out of this, and hopefully if we can work everything out with the bank and with the city, we'll be able to build 7 more, which the city already said that it was zoned for that, and all we have to do is get I think it's called a variance of the land, and then we'll be able to build more. But if you like videos like this and you kind of want to follow my journey, subscribe for more.